we'll see how we can do attribute binding. What is attribute binding and how we can do attribute binding. Again, this exists even in Angular React with different syntaxes. So we'll take this Vue 2 application. I'll take a copy of this. I'll make a copy, paste it, and then we are getting started with attribute binding. Attribute binding is when you want to set, like just now we have set data, like data binding. We have seen how we can set the content of some element like paragraph using this syntax. The content, the what comes within the open close tags, that's the content of the element. Like this two braces thing, like handlebars. So attribute binding is when you want to set an attribute value, you want to bind an attribute value. So when that attribute value changes, Vue.js will take care of re-rendering, just like we saw data binding. So how does that work? Let's say we wanted to give a title for this tip, right? So, or we want to add an image. Let's say we want to add an image. So one, if you have to have an image like this, and we don't know what to give here. So this value will be filled in dynamically. So when the source changes, when the URL changes, a different image will be shown. That's the idea of this demonstration. So again, we'll just put a section or anything around it. It need not be a section, any container. That's up to you. So we need to have one element in the template, right? And this source, let's take some images. Let's search for maybe cartoon images. Okay, let's get some images. Maybe we can get this Mickey and then, yeah, let's say Jerry. So let me open this. Let me open this. Okay, save it. And save it in the same folder. Um, not able to find it. Let me see where I'm working. Where is this? Um, so it is view training view course. Okay, fine. Save this. Okay, I'll create an images folder here. And this is, I think, Jerry. And let's save this. E. Oh, Jerry. All right, so this we will shift between the two. So maybe we'll also include two buttons. Button. This is for Jerry. So you click this and the image should become Jerry's image. And one for Mickey. Okay. So basically, as we know in Vue.js, we bind to the data that's available. So in this data, again, we are at Vue 2. So we could use an object or we can use a function. But to be consistent, we'll use a function because that's supported in 2 as well as 3. 3 does not support directly a data object, but it should be a function returning. So the source, we'll initially keep it at Jerry. So it will be the part of this file. So it will be slash images, or rather dot slash or images. It will be related to this HTML file folder. So there is an images folder here in this folder. And within that Jerry.jpeg. And what we'll do is when we click on these buttons, and we've just seen a basic introduction to event handling. So at the right click, we will set it to images / Jerry JPEG. So that is the source property has to be set to this. So we'll say src equal to this. I'm enclosing this whole string with single quote. So observe here there's a single quote and this closes, click attribute value closes with the double quote. So again @click. So when you click on this button, the source property will be set to images / Mickey. All right, JPEG. So it'll be set this variable changes when you click on the buttons, right? So how do we do attribute binding? This is an attribute, right? SRC is an attribute of an image tag. How you do this is very simple. Again, we'll be seeing details of attribute binding further. So you say put a colon. You put a colon. That's it. And give the variable thing. If you don't put a colon, you have to give a hard-coded string like images / JPEG, etc. Sorry, images / Jerry.jpg. And it would show that if you don't put a colon. Right? So you will see that attribute binding, right? This. So you see the Jerry image coming up. But it's hard-coded. So if you click on Jerry or Mickey, it doesn't change, as you can see. We need this to change based on the string's value. So it's not a hard-coded string that we want. We want the thing from, we want to do data binding. We want to bind to this property of the data. So you give SRC, but then it will not know this is the string. It will actually take literally, it will take the image path as SRC equal to SRC. That won't work. So it will not be able to find that image, SRC equal to SRC. That's how it's set it, you can see it. SRC equal to SRC. That's not right, right? We need view to interpret it as a variable, a data variable, and not a plain string SRC. So that's where attribute binding comes in. We want this to be a data variable. So you put a colon here. Now you'll see that because SRC's images / Jerry JPEG, it'll set that SRC to the value of this variable SRC, which is Jerry JPEG, images / Jerry JPEG. Refresh, and you can see Jerry image, and you can see here as well SRC equal to, it's set it to images / Jerry JPEG. So the value of the data variable is taken. And the good thing is this is actually data binding for attributes. If this value changes, you will see we will automatically do the DOM manipulation to re-render the UI based on the new value of SRC. So you click on Mickey, we know what we're doing. We're setting the SRC variable to this string now, and rest Vue.js will take care. It will re-render and show a different image according to that SRC value. So click on Mickey, and Mickey is showing up. Great. Click on Jerry again, and Jerry's image is showing. And you can see the value change here. Cleanly, you can see it. So you can see it clearly. It's showing up. Images / Mickey, images / Jerry. That you can see the value changing in the attribute here. Great. So that is attribute binding. Some more details. So this is actually a shortcut for something for using a directive called vbind. Now, what are directives? Directives are special attributes. So Vue.js actually compiles your template. It goes through and it does some kind of compilation. So it actually interprets certain things and adds some behavior to the UI, etc. And so it's not just plain HTML, this template. As you can see, there's nothing like colon SRC in plain HTML. There's nothing like @click in HTML, right? So there's something more. There's a compilation step. And this is all interpreted to mean certain things. It sets up event handlers in the background, etc. So it's not purely HTML that we are writing. So image, the SRC :SRC data binding, attribute binding, is actually a short form for vbind. Okay, short form for vbind. Now, why would somebody complicate this? Why, if :SRC would do the job, and this will also do the job, by the way, you can see it works the same way. So it works the same way, but why would somebody complicate it? Right? There's not much use for it, but then there's one situation at least that I'm aware of where it can be useful. So what is that? Let's say you want to set multiple attributes. You want to set multiple attributes, not only SRC, something else on image. Generally, when you use image, you also, as a good practice, add the alternate text. So it's good from the point of accessibility. So screen reader software used by blind people to navigate the pages of your application, they get support for what the image is about. So they'll be able to announce to the user, okay, this image is showing an image of Jerry or Mickey or whatever. So you give the alternate text like image of Jerry or whatever. So let's say we set up one more thing. We set up one property with all the attributes values that we want to set on the image. So let's say image attributes. So it's again an object within this state object. So image item, one is source, another is alternative text. So we'll set it to Jerry mouse, a happy Jerry mouse, a smiling Jerry. Okay. And so we want to set that attribute. Now you can go ahead and do like this, colon alt equal to, and now we have to change this because data has again image attributes one property. Within that image attributes you have SRC. Again here it is image attributes dot alt. Now this would work. I'm doing some mistake. I'm going to close this. Now this would work. Right? You're just doing plain data binding, either like this or like this. Both ways work. And it would work. And that alt text is basically set from the so if this image doesn't appear, you'll see the alt text. So let me do one change. Instead of alt text, we will set, and also we will set up the title attribute. Okay. So title also, let's keep it similar. Title, or maybe something different, just Jerry mouse. Right. So it'll work, and title attribute basically in HTML, it appears when you hover over that. It's just an HTML attribute. So if you hover over it, did I say colon title? I did not, is it? No, I did not. Colon title. So it comes from the image attributes dot title. Again, this if your number of attributes grows large, it can be difficult to read. So you can just align it, your attributes. Right, neat. So you know there are 3 attributes clearly. Now the title appears, that's how it behaves in HTML if you are not aware of it. When you hover over it, so you hover over it and you can see Jerry mouse. It's like a hint text or just a pop-up, so sort of a simple kind of popover. Right? So there it is. Now you want to change that when you click on Mickey. So maybe we can maintain like this. So you can use anything that you have in data here. So here I will say one more. So let's say this is Jerry attributes. Then I have 3 in fact. So Jerry attribute and Mickey's attributes. So Mickey. Okay, so what we'll do when we click on these buttons, we need to set all 3. Now, wouldn't it be cumbersome? Each one you have to set on separately, right? So we'll set SRC, each one separately you have to set, or we have to set up. Yeah. Probably it was not necessary. Let me remove this actually, or was it necessary? Yeah, let it be that. So when we so if you're setting up multiple attributes like this, you have a shorter syntax. So what you can say is you can just say, instead of saying we bind SRC, this image attributes SRC, alt, image attributes alt, title, image attributes or title. If you have the name of the property here, SRC alt title, it's the same as the property names here, right? SRC alt title. So you can use one shortcut, you can just say v bind, that's it. Instead of doing like this, just say v bind, right? Just say v bind. I'll do one thing, I'll just take a copy of this for reference. And I'll comment this part, the HTML. This for your reference. And now use the shortcut v bind. So no need to say SRC, none of this. Just say v bind equal to, if you have an object with all the property values, and they are the same thing, right? SRC alt title. The attributes are also called SRC alt title. That's important. You can just say image. Here you have, right, image attributes. So we just say image ADTRS. Now it will look for the property here and set a bind it to an HTML attribute of the same name. So SRC variable is bound to SRC attribute. Alt variable, data variable is bound to alt attribute. All that what we did here, the same thing will be automatically done, right? Because here also it's SRC, here also it's SRC. The attribute is called alt, and the data variable is also called that image attributes object.alt. So this is the object having similar attribute names, similar the properties as the attribute names. So that's it. So short and sweet, right? Again, small changes to this. So you can set up directly now image attributes object to either Jerry attributes or Mickey attributes. You have one for each. So instead of this, set all three together. Okay, let's see if it's working. Mickey? Oh, no, it's not working. Oh, spelling mistake. Right. First, look at the console. You'll find some error. If not, it says file not found. That Mickey spelling is wrong. Mickey. Yeah, great. Right. So this is sort of neat and clean. If you are doubtful whether this is showing because of this, let me remove completely. Refresh and it works. Right. So that is actually commented out. I'll leave it back. It's commented out in HTML. Here you don't get like a proper syntax highlighting because we are working with a plain string template. When we work with a proper application later on using a proper CLI setup, when we see how we'll build for production, like actual applications, how we build, that time we'll have something called single file templates. So single file components, sorry, SFC, single file components. So there we'll get proper syntax highlighting for our HTML template and all. So not to worry, this is just an introduction to Vue.js.